Hi everyone, it's meteorologist Joe Chaffee on this Sunday, the second day of the Memorial Day holiday weekend. If you're wondering why I'm already in a shirt and tie, it's because I'm actually working today and tomorrow. Seems like I work every day. But let's look at the severe weather risk for today, which is going to be from North Carolina northwest into Ohio and into the southern portion of the Great Lakes. We also have a slight risk of severe weather from, well, let's call it west central Alabama, central Mississippi, the northern half of Louisiana, back through parts of Texas, encased in a larger area of marginal risk that pretty much covers all of the mid-Atlantic states, most of the southeast and the Tennessee Valley, south and west from there. And you can see the general area of thunderstorms that's being indicated for. This is the period, by the way, that covers through 8 a.m. Monday. Okay, so then as we look at from 8 a.m. Monday to 8 a.m. Tuesday, it's a slight risk for the southeast into the southern areas of the mid-Atlantic states down through the Gulf Coast. So you can kind of pick out the fact that there's some sort of cold front in here somewhere with a general area of thunderstorms covering a pretty good chunk of the country, except for the northern plains, northern New England, the southwest and much of Southern California, and this very narrow stripe where I guess the Storm Prediction Center has figured out that there'll be no thunderstorms in this very narrow band here. I love when stuff like that happens. And then as we look into Tuesday, this is where we have another disturbance coming into the northeast, and there actually is a marginal risk of severe weather from northern, well, let's call it north central Maryland, on up through pretty much the eastern two-thirds of Pennsylvania, through New York State, into western New England, and also including northern New Jersey. So I also have marginal risk on Tuesday for coastal North South Carolina, and then back through Georgia, and then this tiny area of marginal risk in Kansas into Missouri. So very interesting severe weather pattern that has evolved over the last week or so. Particularly last night, we saw numerous severe thunderstorm watches and warnings and tornado watches that went up with that large area of that large severe weather outbreak that occurred. And as we look at the satellite loop this morning, we are seeing some weather breaking out across Arkansas into Tennessee, Kentucky, into southern Missouri. And actually, we're starting off the day pretty nice. Not much in the way, no cloud, hardly any cloud cover at all to start this morning where I am. I was a little surprised. I thought there'd be some ocean low clouds that would have come in, but I guess not. And there are some blow-off clouds from this coming up from the southwest, so I think there's going to be some cloud cover in the mix today. But this is going to wind up being the nicest of the 3 weekend days across much of the area that I cover, which is from eastern Pennsylvania through New Jersey, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, and into Connecticut. Now we can see there were some clouds this morning up to the north. Some of that's probably going to burn off. So I really don't think it's going to be a bad day at all here. And if you have outdoor plans, you're good with them. Out in the west, let me just freshen up the loop a little bit here. Out in the west, it's pretty quiet. Most of the area west of the Rockies is fine. Even east of the Rockies, there really isn't too much going on. We've got a little disturbance dropping down through the northern Rockies and the northern plains, but it's not really doing very much. The usual nonsense of morning low clouds from San Diego all the way up to Seattle that will burn off to some sunshine. Storminess out in offshore. You can see where the trough is. The trough is way out in the Pacific, so there is a bit of there is a ridge here in the western part of the United States that's protecting everything. And from the standpoint of the radar this morning, there really isn't too much happening throughout a good chunk of the country, with the exception of you can see here through Tennessee, northern Alabama, Mississippi, and back through Arkansas, northern Louisiana, the risk area for severe. Also have some downpours moving across the Great Lakes and a little bit of light activity off the Carolinas, and that's really about it. So let's take you through really fast what's going to happen today. We're going to have an okay day here, of course, and again we indicated that, showed you that area of severe weather risk that the Storm Prediction Center had. Now we do have a cold front that's going to be coming through here. This is for 2 a.m. Monday morning, so you can see it right there. There's also a bit of a warm front that's getting pinched back down to the south and west, so it's going to keep things a little bit cooler than they otherwise would be over my area. But then, you've got this south-southwest flow ahead of it. You've got this northwest flow behind it. And there isn't a whole lot with this front. So there'll be a few showers with this, I think, tomorrow morning. And then after that, we'll probably see some improving weather conditions as we go through the day. There's also, a chance that there could be some showers and storms in this area. The front's going to be kind of like that. There's also another secondary front behind it. So I think that's what sets up for, the possibility of a marginal risk of severe weather here for Tuesday. You can see it, how the GFS just blossoms it out. Got another little cool high coming down. Not much happening out in the western part of the U.S. And as we move through the week, just looks like, I guess we might as well call it typical early June. Maybe it's going to be, temperatures are going to basically be average. If there's the one odd day that could turn out to be warm, it might be Friday as a high moves offshore and the next front is pinched up to the north. You can see that there's quite an outbreak of showers and thunderstorms being indicated next weekend. This is for next Saturday. You've got some kind of front here that's going to try to drop down. Models actually had that front much further south over the last couple of days, but it seems to want to have this high off the East Coast a little stronger. So we'll see where that goes this week. It also just has a series of waves moving through early next week, so offers opportunity for rain here in the Northeast going into what will be pretty much the second week of June. So we'll talk about the week of June 5th and going forward. I don't see anything really outstanding here. I'm going to just punch up the upper air really fast. Kind of want to keep the video short today because of the holiday. I don't want you guys to spend, the entire day sitting through a video, a 20-minute weather video. But, trough in the east, that kind of flattens out. You see these little waves that move along. Looks like, there's no real blocking going on to the north. But still, there seems to be a tendency for troughing in the eastern part of the United States and no real sign of any kind of ridge building. So at least that means that weather systems progress along and, don't sit for days and days and days at a time. As for the west, I don't see anything really too unusual. You do have occasional systems dropping through, but, the primary focus in the west looks to be a ridge position. And just real fast, we'll punch up the European model and see what that has to say for itself. European, it's funny. European does have a little bit of a blocking high here at the middle of this coming week, but it's a little bit further east than what the other blocks were showing, and it just kind of fade. It's still there actually, but the bottom line is it still means for troughing here in the east. It's got this pretty wrapped up upper low into upstate New York toward the middle of the week of June 5th. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We've got a lot to look at and lots of time. Hurricane season starts, just a couple of reminders. Hurricane season starts on Thursday for the Atlantic Basin. It already started in the Pacific. I will be, if you are on Long Island or nearby, or if you want to make a drive, I have making 2 library appearances to give a talk on hurricanes and weather and whatever you want to talk about. Wednesday, May 31st at 7 p.m. at the Patchogue Bedford Library in Patchogue, New York. You just Google it, or you can go to my website. I have links on there and with information, or on my Facebook page. There's lots of info on that. So I'll be at the Patchogue Bedford Library at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, May 31st, and Saturday, June 3rd. I will be just a mile and a half down the road at the Sayville Library in Sayville, New York at 2 p.m. So you're welcome to come out. They both are free, and we'll have a lot of fun. These talks always wind up getting, we have a lot of fun, a lot of conversation, and I really enjoy doing them. So if you can get out to either one of them, by all means, please do. And thank you for taking the time out on this Memorial Day weekend to take a look at my weather videos. And of course, do remember what Memorial Day weekend means. Please give a little bit of time, a moment of silence or prayer in remembrance of those who have given up their lives for our country so that we can live in the free nation that we do. Okay, everybody have a great Sunday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.